I don't give a fuck if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change.
New footage just surfaced and the streets going absolutely crazy. We talking about video allegedly showing Biggie after March 9th, 97. After the bullets, after the funeral, after everybody supposedly said goodbye. Cameras don't lie, right? But this clip got conspiracy heads losing their minds. Buckle up. This right here gon' have your head spinning. The night Biggie died, or dipped. Hey, listen up. Folks swear Biggie got smoked on March 9th, 1997, but the streets been whispering something different. That whole Peterson Museum scene? Too clean, too fast, too sick convenient. Witness statements ain't match. Cops acting confused. Evidence vanishing like it owed somebody money. Body shipped back to New York before half the paperwork even hit the desk. People saying that wasn't tragedy, that was transportation. A switch, a setup, a clean getaway wrapped in a crime scene. Real spit though, the whole night was sketchy from jump. Big rolled up to that vibe party in a green Suburban, heavyweight presence, mad security, everybody knowing he was marked. West Coast still heated over pack, tension thick enough to choke on. But here go Biggie, posted up like he ain't got a care in the world, mingling with industry heads, flashing that $1 million smile, acting like beef ain't real. Then the party wrap up round midnight and everybody flooding Wilshire Boulevard. Traffic backed up worse than the 405 on a Friday. Cars bumper to bumper, crawling slow, perfect setup for whatever was about to pop off. Big Suburban stuck at a red light, windows down, music knocking, security slipping just enough. That's when the black Impala SS slide up passenger side, arm come out the window, shots rip through the night like thunder. 4 slugs supposedly tore through Big's chest and shoulder. SUV swerve off, trying to get him to Cedars-Sinai. He flatlined before they even reached the emergency room doors. Declared dead at 1 in the morning, body still warm, questions already stacking up higher than the Hollywood sign. But here's where it get real sideways. Witnesses talking about seeing different cars, different shooters, different directions. Some folks say the Impala was green, others swearing it was black. One cat claimed he saw 2 shooters, another say just 1. LAPD show up acting brand new like they ain't never worked a homicide before. Evidence disappearing faster than dope in a raid. Surveillance tapes suddenly missing. Whole crime scene treated like a joke. And the body? Shipped back to Brooklyn in a closed casket before half the city even woke up. No public viewing in LA? No chance for West Coast heads to pay respects. Just a quick cleanup, a plane ticket, and poof, Christopher Wallace allegedly gone forever. Streets started talking immediately though. Cats who knew the game, who understood how power move in the shadows, who seen setups before, they wasn't buying the story. Too many loose ends, too many coincidences stacking on top each. Other like a house of cards, ready to collapse. The whole thing smelled faker than a bootleg Rolex. And anybody with eyes could see the official story had more holes than Swiss cheese. The question ain't just who killed Biggie. The question is, did anybody kill him at all? But before we even get into whether Big really died, we gotta talk about that album he dropped 3 weeks later and why it read like a whole escape manual. Life After Death, the secret playbook. Here's where it gets spooky. Biggie drops an album called Life After Death less than 3 weeks after he dies. On the cover, man standing next to a hearse looking like he already knew what time it was. Songs talking like farewells, prophecy, last days, rebirth, all that. Tracks like Long Kiss, Good Night, You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You, Last Day. Sound less like music and more like man leaving breadcrumbs for anybody paying attention. Like he was saying, I ain't gone, I'm switching scenes. Then you dive into them track titles and lyrics, bruh. Whole project read like a goodbye letter mixed with a relocation manual. Long Kiss Goodnight, talking about enemies closing in, time running out, needing to make moves before it's too late. You're nobody till somebody kills you, sounding less like a warning and more like a strategy. Like Big understood that disappearing through death was the only way to truly be free. Last Day got verses about leaving everything behind, starting fresh somewhere new, cutting ties with the old life. And the double disc situation, symbolic as hell. 2 discs called Life and After Death, like Big literally splitting his existence into before and after the vanish. First disc got all the banger energy, the celebration, the I'm untouchable vibes. Second disc shift into darker territory, introspective joints, tracks that sound like a man preparing to exit stage left permanently. Whole album structured like a farewell tour that nobody realized was happening in real time. Plus the timing don't sit right with nobody who paying attention. Album supposed to drop March 25th originally, but Big died on March 9th. 16 days before release. Most artists who pass, their albums get delayed out of respect, pushed back for proper promotion, reworked to honor their memory. But Life After Death? Nah, that joint hit shelves exactly on schedule, like Big himself still overseeing the rollout from wherever he disappeared to. No delays, no changes, no memorial editions added last minute, just straight business as usual. Then you got songs referencing things that ain't even happened yet when the album was supposedly recorded. Little details in the lyrics, slang that ain't hit mainstream till after he gone. References to events from late 96 and early 97 that don't line up with studio session dates. Producers claim everything was laid down months before, but folks who know production timelines ain't convinced. Sound too fresh, too current, too plugged into what's popping right then. Street theory go like this. Big knew the walls was closing in. Knew the East Coast West Coast beef was about to cost him everything. So he orchestrated his own exit, recorded an album that would serve as both his legacy and his coded message to those who could decode it. Every track a clue, every bar a hint, whole project screaming, I'm still breathing somewhere, y'all can't reach me. The album went straight to #1, sold almost 700,000 copies first week, went diamond eventually. But that success feel different knowing what we know now. Feel less like mourning a fallen king and more like funding a man's early retirement plan. But if the album was the message, then you look at the physical evidence, or in this case, the lack of evidence, and that's when the whole story start falling apart like a cheap suit. Autopsy missing, music still dropping. Real talk, nobody ever saw Biggie's body besides a handful of people. Autopsy didn't get released till 15 years later. Photos? None. Zero. Nada. Weight in the report? Way off. Bullet details? Spotty. Chain of evidence? Sloppy. Then Biggie started dropping albums from the grave like he got studio Wi-Fi in the afterlife. Verses hitting too clean, flows too current, references feeling too recent. Producers be like, it's old tapes. Street folks be like, man please, that's new. Listen though, the whole autopsy situation been fishy since day one. LA County Coroner supposedly did the examination March 10th, day after Big got hit. But that official report stayed locked up tighter than Fort Knox for a decade and a half. When it finally surfaced in 2012, folks who read it started punching holes in it immediately. Weight listed as 395 pounds, when everybody who knew Big swear he was pushing close to 400, maybe more. Height off by inches. Bullet trajectory described in ways that don't match witness accounts of how the shooting went down. And the photographs from the scene? Vanished like Houdini. Crime scene photos, autopsy images, evidence documentation. All that crucial visual proof that's supposed to exist for every major homicide investigation? Can't nobody locate them. LAPD claim files got misplaced, corrupted, lost in departmental transfers. Convenient as hell, right? For the biggest hip-hop murder case on the West Coast, evidence treated like grocery receipts nobody bothered keeping. Then you got the body itself shipped cross-country in a sealed casket before most investigators even finished preliminary work. Funeral in Brooklyn was closed casket, no public viewing, immediate cremation after the service. Ashes supposedly scattered, no grave to visit, no physical remains for independent verification. Whole process moved faster than a drug dealer fleeing a raid, like somebody wanted to make sure no questions could get answered later. But here's what really got heads scratching, the music. Keep coming. Life After Death dropped 3 weeks after he gone, cool. Born Again dropped in 99, hey, that's vault material. But then duets, the final chapter come out in 2005. Big Papa throw down verses on tracks with artists he never met, never recorded with, somehow sounding perfectly mixed and matched like he was actually in the studio with them. Technology wasn't that advanced back then to fake vocal performances convincingly. So how his voice blends so seamlessly with cats who blew up after he supposedly died? Greatest hits collections keep dropping, rare freestyles keep surfacing, unreleased tracks keep popping up on streaming platforms. We talking about material from a man who allegedly been dead since 97, yet somehow got enough leftover recordings to sustain a steady release schedule for 3 decades. Math ain't mathin' on that one. Most artists who pass young, their vault get exhausted within 5, maybe 10 years max. But Big? Catalog staying fed like he's still laying down verses on the low. Street conspiracy run like this. Big recorded way more material than anybody knew about before he dipped. Strategically stockpiling enough content to maintain his presence and generate income long after his exit. Or wilder theory, he actually still recording remotely, sending verses through encrypted channels, using trusted producers as middlemen who claim everything old when it really fresh off the boat. Either way, the evidence don't exist where it should, and the music exists where it shouldn't. That combination got folks believing the whole official story was constructed specifically to fall apart under scrutiny, Like Big wanted people questioning the narrative eventually. But if the evidence was sketchy, Puff's behavior after Big died was straight up suspicious, and them sightings round the world, man, that's when it get real. Puff's slipping tongue and Biggie sightings. Puff ain't helped the situation at all. Man stay saying weird little comments. You don't know the whole story. Some endings ain't endings. He everywhere, trust me. Bruh, what? Then you got sightings everywhere. Kingston, Jamaica, Toronto clubs, Belize resorts, London markets, Legos freestyle videos, big dudes with the same vibe, same voice, same swagger. Always blurry footage, always too close, yet too far. Folks saying, Big ain't hiding? He living? Real spit though, Puff been moving mad suspicious ever since that night in '97. Man went from grieving best friend to cryptic philosopher real quick, dropping comments in interviews that make you do a double take. He be on stage performing big songs, talking to the crowd like, y'all feel him here tonight? He never left us. And at first, you think it's just spiritual memorial type talk. But the way Puff say it got extra layers, like he literally mean Big physically ain't gone nowhere. Documentary filmmakers catch Puff slipping all the time. One interview he talking about how he still get advice from Big, still hear his voice guiding business decisions. Another time he mentioned how Big would be proud of moves they making that's together, like present tense, not past. Interviewers try to press him on it, and Puff just smile that slick smile. Switch subjects real smooth, leave folks scratching their heads, wondering what he really meant. Then you got them anniversary posts on social media. Every March 9th, Puff drop tributes that read less like mourning and more like inside jokes. Captions saying, you know what it is, with wink emojis. Or the plan working perfectly with crown symbols. Or can't stop, won't stop. Both of us, like he including somebody still breathing. Fans in the comments going crazy trying to decode the hidden meanings. And Puff never clarify, never explain, just let the speculation build like interest on an offshore account. But the sightings? Yo, that's where it get wild. Kingston, Jamaica stay popping up in reports. Big heavyset dude with the same walk, same presence, same energy as Big. Spotted in local spots where tourists don't usually venture. Cats swear they seen him at late-night jerk chicken spots, vibing with locals, speaking patois like he been there for years. Photos always come out grainy though, too far away or too blurry to confirm, but the descriptions stay consistent. Dark skin, heavy build, confident swagger, expensive chains, Brooklyn fitted, pulled low. Toronto got multiple sightings over the years. Underground hip-hop heads claim Big been frequenting after-hours spots in the city's Caribbean neighborhoods, showing up to basement parties where nobody got phones out, where old-school respect still means something. One promoter swear Big performed a surprise set at a private venue in 2003. Whole crowd went berserk, but no footage exists because security confiscated every recording device at the door. Stories sound crazy till you hear 6 different people tell the same exact version without coordinating. Belize rumors been circulating since 2001. Island paradise, minimal extradition treaties, huge Caribbean expat community where a famous face could blend in if he laid low proper. Resort workers whisper about a wealthy American guest who tip heavy, stay in luxury villas for months at a time, only come out at night. Got that unmistakable New York accent. Descriptions match Big's build and mannerisms to a T, but anytime somebody try to snap a pic, dude disappear like smoke. London sightings concentrate around Brixton and Hackney, areas with strong West Indian populations where American hip-hop royalty could move incognito if they played it smart. Market vendors claim they served a customer who looked exactly like Biggie, bought authentic Jamaican products, spoke perfect slang, knew Brooklyn streets by heart when conversation went there. Man paid cash, never used cards, never gave a name, just smiled knowingly when the vendor said, yo, you look just like, and walked off before the sentence finished. Then you got them Legos freestyle videos that hit the internet and disappear within hours. Grainy footage of a cypher in Nigeria, big dude in the middle spitting bars that sound too much like Big's flow, voice damn near identical. References dropping that only somebody who lived Big's life would know. Video get uploaded, go semi-viral, then vanish, deleted, scrubbed, impossible to find again. Folks who saw it swear it was him, but without proof, it just become another ghost story in the legend. Every sighting followed the same pattern though. Credible witnesses, consistent descriptions, conveniently missing evidence. Like somebody orchestrating a global game of peekaboo, letting people catch glimpses just to keep the mystery alive. Never showing enough to confirm, but always showing enough to make believers out of skeptics. But all them sightings and slick comments don't mean nothing without the plan. And according to the streets, the escape blueprint was laid out months before that night in LA ever happened. The escape plan, they swear, really happened. This, the conspiracy the streets love the most. Biggie's team got word a hit was incoming. They grabbed a body double who looked like him. During the after-party traffic standstill, Big was quietly swapped into another SUV. Double stayed in the green Suburban. Shots rang off, Double got hit. LAPD lost half the evidence. Biggie flew out of LAX on a private jet before sunrise, ended up in Jamaica, Trinidad, Belize. Depending who you ask, to believers, he ain't dead. He retired. He relocated. He dipped off the map to live a life without the fame, the beef, the bullets, or the stress. Ain't life after death, just life after fame. Aight, so here's how the whole operation supposedly went down. Word on the street say Big's inner circle caught wind of the hit weeks before LA even happened. Informants, street intelligence, intercepted conversations. However they found out, they knew somebody was coming for the crown and wasn't planning to miss. So instead of canceling the trip, they decided to flip the script completely and use the assassination attempt as perfect cover for Big's permanent exit. First step was locking down a body double. Not just any lookalike neither. Somebody who matched Big's exact height, weight, skin tone, facial structure, the whole nine. Streets say they found a cat out of Brooklyn who could have been Big's twin. Dude who needed money bad enough to take the ultimate risk. Theory go that this man got paid heavy up front. Family set up with offshore accounts, whole financial future secured in exchange for playing the role one final time. Night of the party, everything moved like clockwork. Big showed face at the Peterson Museum event. Cameras caught him, witnesses confirmed his presence. But during that chaotic exit, when hundreds of people flooded Wilshire Boulevard and traffic locked up tight, that's when the switch happened. In the confusion, Big slipped into a different vehicle while the double climbed into the Suburban wearing Big's clothes, his jewelry, his whole fit. Security was in on it, had to be. Puff knew, Cease knew, closest members of Junior Mafia knew. They made sure the Suburban ended up exactly where it needed to be at that red light. Made sure the double was visible through the window. Made sure everything looked legitimate when them bullets started flying. And when shots erupted and the double took the hit, the decoy vehicle with the real Big was already blocks away, headed straight for LAX. Private terminals at LAX don't got the same security as regular gates. You got money and connections. You can board a jet with minimal documentation, minimal questions, minimal paper trail. Streets say Big was wheels up before 2 in the morning, touched down in Jamaica before sunrise, stepped off that plane into a new life while news of his death was still breaking stateside. The LAPD involvement made it all work. Corrupt cops been part of LA forever. Theory go that certain officers got paid heavy to mishandle the investigation, lose evidence, muddy witness statements. That's why the case stayed cold, why nobody ever got charged, why files kept disappearing. Whole system designed to protect the secret. So, Big ain't resting in peace somewhere. According to believers, he resting in paradise, living quiet, living free, watching his legend grow while he sip rum on a beach nobody know about. The greatest escape artist hip-hop ever seen.